Metro PCS stock, not a great ring to it. Let's talk to Reuters correspondent Ernie Scheider. All right, Ernie, it looks like this deal is going through. T-Mobile USA, owned by Deutsche Telekom, and Metro PCS going to merge. Metro PCS, yesterday the stock was up 18%. Today it's down 9.5%.
Bit of a swing.
Yeah.
So, you really have to look at the fine print of this deal to sort of understand why the stock might be down today. So, technically, Metro PCS is buying Deutsche Telekom's T-Mobile USA unit through a pretty complex step. So, they're doing a 1-for-2 reverse stock split, giving out a cash payout of about $1.5 billion to their current shareholders. But at the end of it, Deutsche Telekom's T-Mobile will have the largest stake in the combined company, and Metro PCS shareholders will only end up with about a quarter of the stake. So, a lot of moving on there, but it doesn't really seem to be a good deal if you're a Metro PCS shareholder. Okay,
so T-Mobile USA has really been an albatross around the neck of Deutsche Telekom.
Yes.
And together these two companies are still not going to rate number 3. They're still number 4th behind Sprint, and T-Mobile in this country still doesn't have the iPhone.
Right, which is the must-have if you're a cell phone carrier right now. So Deutsche Telekom has been trying for years to do something with this unit. Last year they tried to sell it to AT&T. The U.S. Department of Justice nixed that deal. So basically with this, they do grow, but as you say, they're not going to be at least in the top 3. But this is a type of business, sort of, I call it like the Walmart effect. You have to have economy of scale.
Right.
The bigger you are, the larger your fan base grows, your subscriber base grows. You go to a cocktail party and talk about cell phones. People ask, "Are you Verizon or AT&T?" They don't ask, are you Metro PCS?
Sure. Okay. Interesting where this leaves Leap, which is the sole competitor to Metro PCS, and today is the biggest percentage loser on the NASDAQ. Down 16%. Leap is on the news.
Yeah, that's never a good distinction to have. So basically, Leap and Metro PCS were in the same category. They served pay-as-you-go customers right now, and so they had both been sort of at the same dance for a while. And now, Leap is left without a dance partner. And the rumor had been, will Metro PCS be sold? Will Leap be sold? Now it's out there, and now its biggest rival, Metro PCS, has a much larger competitor. It becomes a much larger competitor because now it's combined with Deutsche Telekom's T-Mobile. So where does that leave Leap? Will Leap's lunch get eaten?
We'll wait and see. Okay. Moving on to our favorite 71-year-old with the stash. A Reuters exclusive. It's been a few days since we've talked about him, but Richard Schulze moving forward with the consortium of 4 PE firms. The books are open. They're doing the due diligence and checking it out.
Yeah, so Reuters exclusive here that this deal with the 4 PE
Best
firms.
Buy, we should say, for the 3 people out there, right? Taking it private, yes.
Could be worth as much as $11 billion, and that's a pretty huge deal. And so, Schulze has been very outspoken for a long, long time about the company and basically wanting to move it in a new direction. So it sounds like here with this story that he could really have that option if the PE firms go on board with this $11 billion deal. Obviously, a lot could still happen.
Right.
Kind of the brick and mortar retail space has come under assault in the past few years by Amazon and by other online retailers. And, Best Buy needs to really boost its online presence. And so maybe Schulze thinks he can do it better than the current management can.
He founded it back in 1966.
He did something right, kept it going all this time.
I know, but sources in the story actually saying that those that are close to the PE firms are saying the PE firms are skeptical, but why not proceed? Because it could help them. They've got other retail businesses, so why not look at the book, said Best Buy?
Why not? I mean, of course, Best Buy has its fingers in a lot of different businesses, a lot of different vendors out there, so if you're a PE firm, it doesn't hurt.
And then there's Hubert Joly, who just come in as CEO while all this is going on.
Imagine Hubert just came in as a CEO, earlier this year, barely has got a chance to warm his seat, and all of a sudden all this maelstrom comes out in the press. So how do you think he feels?
The maelstrom. Okay, let's move on to the hot spot, Mr. Scheider. And this is pretty amazing. Stock today that's really soaring 160% is Sarepta Therapeutics, pharmaceutical company. Their experimental drug for kids with what's called Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a rare form of MD, improved walking ability.
So DMD, it affects about 1 in 4,000 young boys. And so Sarepta basically came out and said that they did a study with this new drug and that these boys were able to survive kind of the 6-minute walk test or basically successfully navigate it. So that's huge. If you can't walk before or have a serious problem walking, and you can do this right now. So as we've seen with many pharmaceutical companies and their stocks, any glimmer of hope sends the stock through the roof. Why? Because, the potential to have, vast, sales is great there if you basically have a cure for this. So really, really positive. Also comes as the same day, though, that the Department of Defense in the United States cut off an Ebola virus research contract that they had with the company. So Sarepta could use all the good news it can get.
And a high-profile person whose son was actually affected with his disease.
Yeah, the founder of Ferrari, his son had the disease, died at the age of 24. Life expectancy is right around 25 for this disease. Wow. So, if you're able to also not only help people walk, but extend life expectancy, you can only imagine what this would do for the company.
Absolutely. All right, let's move back to the market monitor. Talk about HP as companies hanging on like a Best Buy.
Packard.
I know. And CEO there, Meg Whitman, of course, formerly of eBay. She's addressing investors today in San Francisco. We've got a story today in Reuters is talking about basically the printer business hanging on for them. Although, as one analyst, Shaw Wu at Stern Agee says, it's not as much of a problem as some of their other businesses. Not exactly a ringing endorsement. But does the printer business buy her time to turn around the rest of the company with declining PC sales everywhere?
Perhaps, but it's a really weak leg to stand on. So the printer business is extremely cutthroat. HP has a reputation for excellence in the space, rightly earned, but you make the money in the ink. And there's a lot of generic rivals out there that are all too happy to supply you ink for your HP printer at a much cheaper price than HP will charge you. So to sort of rely on the printer business for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, while Meg Whitman crafts this long-term plan to ward off the Dells and the IBMs of the world, it's probably not the strongest idea. So today, expect Wall Street analysts to needle Meg Whitman for exactly what she's going to do, fine details, not kind of grandiose, big ideas, but really on the ground specifics. And, HP stock down now, what, 2 or 3%?
3% down today.
So, definitely not a good sign going into this meeting, which, as you say, will be on the West Coast.
That's right. Okay, let's look at the broader market and see what U.S. stocks are doing. We've got some green arrows based on some good ISM and ADP data today.
Yeah, so positive news out from the service sector. It sort of grew last month, but I always like to, be countercyclical here and just point out that the employment growth was not as strong in September as ISM had expected or had been in previous quarters. So sort of a mixed bag there. But you know what? We'll take whatever positive news we can get.
You present it with a smiling face.
You got to.
Okay, Ernie Scheider, thanks so much. Remember, follow us on Twitter at Reuters Insider and check out our Reuters YouTube channel. That is Reuters.com/Reuters TV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.